In Portland, the cops have been arresting people in unmarked vehicles with no name, no badges, nothing. Just walking up to people and essentially abducting them. You can't make this up. Take a look at this video over here.
Use your words. What are you doing? Use your words. What are you doing?
I haven't done anything wrong.
Use your words.
What's going on, sir?
What is going on?
We need to know.
Who are you?
Why are you taking
NLG will get you out. What's your name? Tell us your name.
What's your name?
Okay, you're fine. We'll get you out.
Bro, what?
We got you, friend.
We got you.
Oh, fuck.
NLG.
You just violated their rights.
Oh. Kidnapping people.
You just violated their rights.
Thanks for keeping the fucking. Oh.
What the hell was that? They snatched the dude and put him in a van and just drove off. We're not done. This is also in Portland. This is also in Portland. Take a look at this. Oh my God.
Across the street from the federal courthouse.
This is the Foreign Minister of Venezuela. South of Southwest United Street is closed. You must remain on the sidewalk on the north side of Salem. If you enter the street or come south of Salem, you will be arrested and subject to force. Stay to the north and stay back.
Across the street from the federal courthouse.
This is the Foreign.
Dude, what the hell is going on here? What the hell is going on here? So look, OPV broke the story. All right, let me read it to you. Federal law enforcement are using unmarked vehicles to grab protesters off Portland streets. All right, so I just showed you the first video. Federal law enforcement officers have been using unmarked vehicles to drive around downtown Portland and detain protesters since at least July 14th. Personal accounts and multiple videos posted online show the officers driving up to people, detaining individuals with no explanation of why they are being arrested, and driving off. The tactic appears to be another escalation in federal force deployed on Portland city streets, as federal officials and President Donald Trump have said they plan to, quote-unquote, quell nightly protests outside the federal courthouse and Multnomah County Justice Center that have lasted for more than 6 weeks. Look, man, I mean, if this doesn't frighten you, I don't even know what to tell you. This is some Gestapo shit. This is terrifying. This op-ed in the Washington Post talking about this, but the way that it's worded is ridiculous. So, first of all, the title, Trump's agents are sweeping peaceful citizens off the streets. This is not America. What? I can assure you that's America. Ain't nothing new. This is not new. It's not okay, but it's not new. Trump didn't write a new law last night. They've been doing this for decades. Decades. As much as I revel what President Trump is doing to the country, I've not been among the alarmists who warn of incipient authoritarianism, of festering fascism. I have believed anyway, in the rule of law, the steadfastness of the courts, even larded with Trump-appointed judges, the strong tradition of the U.S. military refraining from being used to serve partisan interests. But to have watched live as federal agents attacked peaceful protesters near Lafayette Square, and now to read the reports from Portland is to worry. Perhaps that was over-optimistic. Okay. Let me explain something to this person. Okay? Let me explain something to this person. She says this is not America. Are you that naive that you think you really have a First Amendment? Are journalists protected by the First Amendment? They should be. But Julian Assange isn't. All the journalists that Biden and Obama prosecuted using the Espionage Act weren't. There's no First Amendment for journalists. Do you think African Americans are protected by the First Amendment? They don't even say anything and get killed. George Floyd got killed for no reason. He wasn't protesting. Breonna Taylor was asleep. Rashard Brooks was drunk, running away from cops. Ahmaud Arbery walked onto a construction site, allegedly. He was jogging and he got lynched. That's what happened. You think African Americans are protected by the First Amendment? Do you think that this is new because of Trump? The people at Standing Rock, the people at Ferguson, the people at Occupy Wall Street, Biden and Obama respected their First Amendment rights? You don't think they were carted away and thrown in jail and had their skulls cracked? Stop this American exceptionalism. Stop this idea that, we have the best constitution and the best nation in the world. We have the First Amendment. No, you don't, bitch. All the evidence proves that you do not. When you need the First Amendment the most, it ain't there. It's useless. Because it doesn't exist in practice. Just on paper. The 87 people who protested Breonna Taylor's death and got charged with felonies. Where's their First Amendment? Apparently, to whoever wrote this article, if you oppress someone without a badge, then it's fascism. No, it's always been fascism. It's always been authoritarian. It's always been oppressive. It doesn't matter if they're wearing a badge or if the vehicle has plates. It's still oppression. It's still fascism. It's still wrong. Why are you only paying attention now? What about the people that suffered the consequences of US imperialism? Your soldiers, men in green fatigues just like that, arrest people all the fucking time. All the time. In other countries that they are illegally occupying. Do you know how many people were sent to Abu Ghraib that didn't do a thing? Construction workers, taxi drivers. And you saw the torture. You saw the torture. So what does that mean when she says, this is not America? So you're only offended by people being picked up randomly and arrested by your troops when it happens inside America, but when it happens abroad, it's fine? Why are you so special? What's different about you? When we're talking about the United States illegally occupying other countries, even if somebody did something, what the fuck are you doing there? Who are you to come and randomly arrest people off of the street? Would you accept it if the Iraqi army came to the United States and started arresting US civilians in the street? You would lose your fucking mind, yet you do the same to other people. Why is that? How is that acceptable? It's unacceptable. It's inadmissible. It's incorrigible. It's disgusting. It's revolting. So what does that mean? This is not America. Oh, your foreign policy came back to haunt you? Is that what you're saying? So it's okay when you do it to other people, but when it happens to you, now it's not okay. And when it's been happening to African Americans, when it's been happening to people of color for decades and centuries, you weren't noticing that fascism? You weren't noticing the violation of their rights? It only counts now? Only now you've woken up? What do you expect, man? The person who wrote this article, member of the Democratic Party, and it's the irony of how she says that she's not pushing any of this Trump is a fascist rhetoric while pushing the Trump is a fascist rhetoric. No. It's always been that way, no matter who the president is. They just want to go back to having a neoliberal like Biden so they can bury their heads in the sand. That's it. You know what martial law is? Let me explain what the term martial law means. Martial law is when the general population starts getting treated the way that African Americans and colonized people abroad have always been treated. Once it applies to white people, then it's martial law. So look, man, listen to me. Listen to me. This shit is terrifying. We're not debating that. But don't come here and tell me that this is because of Trump solely. No, it's not. No, it's not. And you had this, you've been having this for a long time. Yes, federal agents with no name, no badge, unmarked vehicles, arresting people for no reason. You have the Homeland Security Act from 2002 under Bush and the National Defense Authorization Act from 2011 under Obama. All of these federal agents have sweeping powers to do what they are doing right now before Trump. Okay, this is nothing new. Every single one of your presidents makes sure that the working class can be oppressed by law enforcement with absolute impunity. This whole First Amendment is a myth. And once again, I would reiterate, what difference does the badge make? Do you think it makes a difference whether the 4 cops that murdered George Floyd had a badge or not? What they did was still wrong. When the police come and crack your skull for protesting, I don't really give a fuck if they're wearing a badge or not. It's still wrong. The badge does not excuse their behavior. Oh, this is some scary shit. This is some scary shit. I mean, this is something that you would see out of a movie. This is something that you would see Combines doing in Half-Life 2, coming and cracking people's skulls, right? Come with us, citizen. Just drag you by your hair. Put you in a car and drive off. This is some dystopian shit. I mean, really, in every sense of the term, this is dystopian. And what's even more concerning is that you don't even know if these are cops. What if it's a bunch of nut jobs, a bunch of right-wingers dressing up, trying to play toy soldier, thinking they can walk around and arrest people? It turns out that these cars they're using, all right, federal officers appear to be using rental cars from Enterprise to snatch Portland protesters. So the plate numbers were captured on video. DMV records in a national database reviewed by WW show that a van used to whisk away a protester wasn't a law enforcement vehicle, but a private rental. So now we got to ask ourselves, were those even cops? What the hell is going on here? If you saw this happening in Iraq or Syria or any other country that's being bombed and colonized by the US, nobody would flinch. They've become desensitized. They have internalized this mantra that it's normal for American soldiers to come and just drag someone off of the street, put them in a car, and arrest them. As long as it's not in America. Then it's okay. And you know I'm fucking right. And you fucking know 99.9% of people in America would have no issue with that. Of course. They become so fucking desensitized to it. It's like, yeah, of course that brown Arab did something wrong. Of course. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there are about 18,000 different police departments in the US. They all have different rules and policies. They're not legally obliged to actually put on a name or a badge number. That's just something they do to reinforce trust. Trust. Here's my name tag. Trust me while I crack your skull. But do you see the issue here? Do you see the problem? They are not legally obliged to even give you their name or tell you for which agency or police department they work. That should be mandated by law. It's not, though. And that's why they get away with this shit. And it's not because of Trump. It's always been this way. Once again, man, this is your foreign policy come home. In many, many ways. In many ways.